Zach, we're live. No intro, no music, no skipping.
You wanted something wild, right? Tuesday, live.
Big Tuesdays, are you ready?
Real chills, that ball crushing spills. You pay for the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
I am so excited today because what we're talking about is so crucial in business. And it comes down to you either have more time or you have more money. And when you have more money, you decrease how much time you need to get to where you want to be.
This is
Now you
this
chose,
is a,
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say you chose this topic today, so I'm excited because I know you have something in mind. Some you're gonna bring it all.
We're bringing the fire. This is where the big boys and the big girls that put their daddy pants, their mommy pants on. This separates posers in business from actual people that study the art of business. We all have two professions. You've heard me say this a million times. The thing that we do, and then we got to get eyeballs on it. And we talk about this all the time. You could be the best heart surgeon in the world, a miracle maker of that. But if you don't have patience to operate on, you're not going to have food with your meals. And this is where, in the beginning, there's something that I will often coach businesses is we lead with revenue. Maybe you don't have time to launch a $10,000 YouTube campaign. That's fine. You don't have the money to do that. What can we do? And so especially when you're starting out, or if you get knocked down, which happens all the time, you and I have both been knocked down in business where we're king of the world, doing all the things, and then boom, something happens. If you have more time than you have money, there's certain things that you should be focused on. Now, when we're talking about local businesses, number one is always going to be the database. Are you nurturing that database? This is the most valuable thing. And even when you have more money than you have time, that database is mission critical. The campaign that we run to those people to stay in front of them so they know us, they like us, they trust us, they believe we have the best solution for them. Are we doing that? Are we intentional? If you're just starting out in business, this is one of the first exercises. When I was running a real estate team, my expectation was day one, when you show up, you're going to have 250 names. You're going to have 250 addresses. You're going to have 250 cell phone numbers. And you're going to have 250 email addresses, because I knew that database was critical. And I knew when they nurtured that database properly, they'd get 10 transactions, or 10 to 15 transactions out of just that database.
I love it. So let me ask you this. I had us with some music in the background to keep us. Anyways, so let me ask you this. So nurturing your database, that's going to be time part of it, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about, if you had more money, what's the best way? How do you leverage that side of, like, all right, look, I know I have 250, 1,000, 10,000 people in my database. If I had more time, yes, I'm going to create the emails. I'm going to launch the emails. I'm going to do all this stuff. If I had more money, how would I leverage that piece of it? If I had more money, and how do I nurture my database using more money than my time?
That's a great question. There's the four types of traffic that we talk about. The most valuable, we already talked about, traffic that we own. This is our database. It's so much easier just to love on those people and work on those people. And it's fairly cheap, because I can send out an email. I can pick up the phone, I can go show up to their house with, some sort of gift. But the other types of traffic out there, traffic that we earn is another one that if you have more time than money, we'll come back to that. But traffic you pay for, this is the easiest, simplest way. You want to scale your business. You want traffic now, not yesterday. Ads. Oh my gosh. Ads are the fastest way to get a quick response. You got this idea that you think's going to just like cook with gas. You've developed the slap, the story, the solution. You put that ad out there, you run traffic to your offer, you're going to have instant feedback. Either it's going to be a winner or it's going to be a loser. And so the fastest way to success is always going to be ads, but ads are expensive. Ads can quickly bankrupt you. Ads will put you in the red. And so there's an art to it now. Back in the day when Facebook first came out with ads, like, they were just stupid cheap. It was like everyone was printing money, but Zuckerberg wanted a nicer boat. The people at Google, they wanted nicer boats. And so, like, things got way more expensive. this time of year, we're coming up on Christmas right now. This is December when we're recording this. There's a lot of people that are running ads out there. We're seeing this right now with our clients. The lead costs are going up right now.
Yeah, I think that you're exactly right. Say you have an idea, you put it together, you want to test out this offer, this new thing they want to do. The fastest way to test it out is absolutely ads. When I was thinking about the databases, how do you nurture your database using more money than time? I mean, there's things that we can do inside of, again, ads that increase us the visibility that we need to be in front of our database. So on the ads perspective, we create what they call custom audiences. We take our database and we put it into Google, we put it into Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and we say, find these people using their name, address, phone number, email address. Find these people, put them in a bucket. And then when I have an offer, I want to put my offer in front of that bucket. And that is the fastest way to get in front of them, especially when people are using, depending on what specific platform they're on. If it's LinkedIn, if it's Facebook, if it's now TikTok's the thing that's blowing up right now. You could create your custom audience of your database and get your message out to them right in front of them, and so that they see it. One thing that I think about when I hear about emails is I think of when, because a lot of people will come to us, right? And they'll say, I heard it the other day from a client that said, well, my email list, I don't even know. I don't even check my own email. And he was literally saying this. I don't really check my own email. I know, these one people, they're always sending me stuff. And I know it's always a promotion. I kind of bypass it. I don't even know if I look at it. But there's something about when Nike sends me an email and I want to know about the new shoe or the new, athletic gear that's coming out. And when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, you hit on something so key. It's not necessarily how big your database is. It's the relationship that you have with your database. If you provide value to your database, they're going to open and listen, right? And I think I was at a Funnel Hacking Live one time when someone gave that same analogy. He said, if your mother sent you an email, would you open it? It's like, yeah, of course, my mother, right? It's like, but if if some company sends you an email, you might look, you're like, this is not important, right? And I do that through my own email list. I'm like, okay, promotion, delete. But there are some emails that I get that I know they come from a specific person, and I'm like, oh, Zach sent me an email. Let me see what that email's about. Let me read it.
Whatever.
Then I quickly delete it. Like I skim, then delete. But the whole point is, if we are I guess when it comes from an email's perspective, and having more time and trying to connect with them, it's about the relationship and the value that you provide that's going to get your open rate way higher.
It really is. And if I was building out a business, and again, I had more time than money, I am taking a very close look at emails. I am notorious for hating emails. However, email makes me so much money as an entrepreneur. It prints money. And the cool thing about the email, again, we've seen this happen with Facebook, with YouTube. Like they just shut down accounts. Sometimes it's deserved, sometimes it's not deserved. And so you have this winning thing that you're crushing it with on one of these platforms, and they blacklist you. You're screwed unless you own your database. And so when you're doing those things, that's great. Print money with it, but make sure we're collecting that. We're putting that into our database. We're growing the thing that is the most valuable asset that we have in the business. Now, I was talking earlier about the heart surgeon, right? So you're the most talented heart surgeon, your most talented contractor, the most talented heating and cooling guy in the world. But if you don't have eyeballs on your business, you're not going to have food with your meals. And so by necessity, there's two things that we have to do, the thing that we do and the marketing, getting the traffic to us. So I want to ask this question. With a lot of the businesses that I coach, opportunity comes every once in a while. And if we're being students of the game, not just being the best contractor, the best drywaller, the best whatever, ever, we're also building the business. You're able to take advantage of that opportunity. If a level 10 opportunity comes, which doesn't come often in your life, and you have level 10 skill set, you're going to explode, absolutely explode. And so whether or not you want to explode in business, if you want to have a consistent business, a business that grows, a business that when the market shifts, you can shift, you can pivot with it, it's very important to raise that skill set. And I want to talk about, this was actually from one of my mentors, where he talks about the keys of understanding money. It's often said, what is the root of all evil, Michael?
The root of all evil is for the love of money.
Notice the nuance he put in there. It's not money. It's the love of money. It's a big deal. As a Christian growing up, I definitely have a lot of beliefs on money. I was very wary of making money. Come to find out, it's the love of money. Money is a tool. It's amoral. It's like a brick. I can build a house with it, or I could smash a window with it. Money by itself is amoral. The love of money, if it becomes my master, is where it becomes an issue as a Christian here. When we understand that, part of the, like, I love that parable. I'm going a little bit preachy right now, and I love it. The parable of the talents. Like, God gives us these talents, right? And if you're called to be an entrepreneur, it's my firm belief that you're called to grow the business in an ethical, in a great, in a moral way, and in a big way. To do that, we have to change the way that we think about money. Now, think about, Michael, at a hotel. Like, we go to a hotel, we're going to Orlando, because right now it's like 3 degrees here in Michigan, which I like the cold. The cold is actually fun. It's the lack of the sun, but we're going to Orlando. We go to a hotel, you and I check in. It's awesome. Who's the hardest working person at that hotel?
The hardest working person? I mean, I think it's the people who clean the rooms.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I know you're right. Like, those people are busting their butts. They get paid the least amount of money. Now, these are the implementers. Now, there's nothing wrong with being an implementer, but like, ultimately, what are they doing? They're trading their time for money. They're trading their muscles, the things that they're doing for money. And if you look at it, if this is the job that you're doing, think about it as a drywaller. If this is the only thing you're doing, you're putting up drywall, or you're a remodeler, but you're the guy that swings the hammer the whole time. Nothing wrong with that, but you're going to be somewhere between minimum wage and $80,000. Now, going above that, the next level is what we call unification. Now, this is where you start to manage these people. The person at that hotel, to use that example, they're getting paid somewhere between 40 to, depending on the hotel, $250,000 a year. Now, they manage these people. They run the orchestra to make sure everything stays clean. Above that, and this is where it starts to get really fun, is communication. So we have implementation on the bottom, implementers. We have unification, and then we have communication. This is where we start to use our mouth, the words that we have, to make money. And now, when you do that, you can expect between 100,000 and really 100 million. And I can go through a bunch of examples. You think of like Tony Robbins. He's a great example of this, where he's using the words that he comes up with to make money on this. The final level, the top level, you're going to love this one. What do you think it is? Who it's like, if
the thinker.
The elite of the elites, who are the people that make, the billionaires? Think of a couple of billionaires that you know.
Well, I think they're the visionary people, the thinkers, the
imagination. You hit the nail on the head. These are the imaginers, right? They use their mind, and then they use money. They make between 100 million and billion. So Elon Musk, love him or hate him, Elon Musk is one of these guys where he comes up with this vision. I want to go to Mars. So what am I going to do? I'm going to build an electric car company, because I can run electric cars on there. I'm going to build a tunneling thing so I can tunnel in Mars. Solar power on it. What else am I missing with him? SpaceX.
SpaceX, yeah, the one, the rockets.
So we can get there. Like, all his companies, the internet, the Starlink, all these things are designed on that. And like, it's the vision of him going to Mars, that he needs all these other things and builds all these other things. And so when we're in business, it's critical to think like this. We there's nothing wrong, again, with swinging a hammer. That's great. It's noble. It's great. However, if I want to make more money, I need to think differently. I want to see, like, how can I employ other people? How can I take that next step up and build my business? And it works in every single industry.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And as we kind of like bring this back full circle, like, you either have more time or you have more money. Like, again, how do you create more money so you can decrease that time? of that piece, and that's what level are you on, and what level do you need to get to so that you can increase your capacity and the amount of money you make. That way, you decrease that time to success.
Yeah. A critical thing of doing this is learning. Not for the sake of learning, but for the sake of wisdom, taking this knowledge that we get from podcasts like this, from books that we read, and then turning that into wisdom, tactical things that we can implement. It's a critical thing to be a master of the game. So I want to jump back real quick to the 4 types of traffic. We talked about this. So the most important traffic is the traffic that we own. It's our database. If you're not getting reliable and consistent business from that database, we're doing things wrong. If we're not growing that database, because the database is always dying, people are moving, people are getting hit by buses, whatever. Like, you have to continue to grow that database, because it will leave you. And then you have to nurture that database. Very critical. Nurture that database. Traffic that you earn. This is what Michael and I are literally doing right now. This is a free podcast that Michael and I have spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on our education. And that's not being facetious. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn what we've learned, and we're giving it away. We're absolutely giving it away. And so that traffic that we earn, we're building a podcast. We turn it into shorts. We turn it into a podcast. We put it on YouTube. It gets eyeballs on us. This is we're taking our time, though. We're earning this, right? Then the traffic that we pay for, we talked about that, the ads there. The 4th type of traffic is a mysterious and awesome type of traffic. This is traffic that we borrow. When we're clear, and we talked about this a few weeks ago, on your avatar, the person that you serve at a high level, there's going to be adjacent industries that also serve those people. And so if you can create a partnership, then you can open up a whole different database where they already have rapport with that person, and that person can say, yeah, Michael, he's the guy. He's amazing. One of the things that Michael does on the side, he's a real estate investor, right? And so with the real estate investing, he's got a partnership with the wholesale. I'm drawing a blank. Help me out. The wholesale.
The Nexa people.
Where we go.
UWM.
UWM. What is it? United Wholesale
Mortgages. Yeah.
Mortgage. The president there, he's a billionaire. If he was to stay on stage, like, oh my gosh, if you're thinking about investing in real estate, Michael's got all these products. You got him. Like, that would be an example of that kind of partner where he has all these connections here and could flood you with business. And so, traffic
and that's just with one sentence, right? So
right.
Who has your avatar's attention, right? That they trust, know, and like, and by one sentence can change the world. It was funny because me and my wife went into, I don't know, some store yesterday. She wanted Christmas stuff, so we bought the Grinch tree and all these decorations, and we were like going through that, and the lady at the counter, she said, "Man, you have no idea when someone from TikTok goes on TikTok and one of our things go viral, everybody floods in here and empties the store of that thing, right?" She said, "This year it's the Grinch." Right. And the reason why I even wanted something with the Grinch, because I saw this TikTok and I thought it was hilarious that this guy dressed up as the Grinch and he came in and like terrorized the family and the little kids, was stealing the gifts. And I thought it was hilarious personally. And I was like, I want the tree. Right. So that was that influence of it. But when we were there in the store, the lady was saying, she goes, "Wow, you have no idea how quickly a trend will happen. And then people will flood in to buy that thing." And it's really because that person has influencers, right? So that influencer has people watching their content, and then they make one move and boom, it shifts a whole market. So that is very extreme about that whole
great traffic that you borrow, right? How can you create relationships with those influencers? Now, if you're a local contractor, who are the local influencers that we can utilize to get eyeballs on your business? And what's fun is that there's a whole podcast we should do on this. Some of the big influencers out there that have millions and millions and millions of followers, they might not have the time of day for you, but there's a ton of what we call micro influencers. On TikTok, that would be somewhere between like 5 to 20,000 followers that, especially if they're local, they have a powerful sway on things. Like, what could you do as a partnership with those people to get eyeballs on your company?
Yeah, I think that's great. So I think, if you're in this if you're in this season of do I have more time or more money? Like money is definitely going to speed up your time. But if you have more time, then focus on nurturing those type of relationships of the influencers. Focus on nurturing your database. Put out more content. That's your time. You got to put in the time to grab the audience that you're looking for, and that's all about creating content, being have a good relationship with your database, and find the people who have your audience that you can borrow the traffic from as well.
I love it. Michael, if they want to talk more to us on this, where do they go?
They got to go to www.cruxlocal.com and set up a free strategy session where we give away this type of content. We do we have an avatar booklet. We have all these things to help you with AI. So let's book up a call. Let's talk, and we can go from there.
I love it. See you guys
See you
next time.
soon.